The press conference did not begin with noise. It began with tension. The kind of slow, heavy tension that builds when two completely different worlds, two completely different energies, and two completely different mindsets are about to collide on the same stage. The venue was filled long before anyone spoke. Cameras were already pointed at the empty stage like weapons waiting to fire. Promoters whispered to each other, journalists rehearsed their questions, and fans pressed themselves against barriers, hungry for the first glimpse of the men who would soon turn this quiet room into a battleground of words, stares, and bravado.
That'll be a part of BBC pay-per-view on Prime Video. That is Saturday, December 6th, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific Time, live from the Frost Bank Center here in San Antonio, Texas. His son to this very moment, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the esteemed trainer of Lamont Roach Jr. Here is Lamont Roach Sr.
And then the sound changed. Conversations stopped as Isaac Pitbull Cruz walked in first. He didn't wave, he didn't smile. He didn't acknowledge the crowd like a man seeking attention. Instead, he moved with that signature low-centered, coiled intensity, shoulders tight, chin tucked, eyes scanning the room as though preparing for combat rather than media.
Nada, creo que él también está en problemas, no vengo amarrado de las manos, ni vengo cojo y le voy a dar una gran pelea.
I think he's in trouble too. In fact, he might just have his hands tied and it's going to be a great fight, no matter what.
Every step from Cruz was short, compact, and purposeful, the exact same way he fights. He sat down, leaned forward with his elbows on his knees, and stared at the empty podium in front of him. Even before he spoke a single word, he carried the energy of a fighter who believes entirely, almost obsessively, that this fight is not going to be a boxing match. It is going to be a hunt.
Los titulares como los mejores encabezados y bueno, ganando de una manera espeluznante.
Look, I expect only the best headlines on Sunday morning, and I'm going to win in a terrifying way.
A few seconds later, Lamont Roach made his entrance, but it was the complete opposite kind of presence. If Cruz arrived like a storm, Roach arrived like calm weather before the storm hits. He walked slowly, shoulders relaxed, chin up, wearing the expression of a man who understands the moment but refuses to be swallowed by its pressure. Unlike Cruz, he greeted a few familiar faces in the crowd, nodded to the reporters, and sat down with the composure of a champion defending his territory. Roach's confidence wasn't loud. It was controlled, almost unsettling. The type of confidence that comes from years of believing you can solve any puzzle placed in front of you. When the microphones went live, the quiet tension finally snapped. Cruz was the first to speak, and his tone set the entire mood of the event. He spoke with a blunt, forceful energy that came from a place deeper than simple promotion. He talked about pressure, about intensity, about what it means to be relentless in a sport where hesitation is punished. Cruz made it clear that he wasn't coming to outbox Roach. He was coming to smother him, to limit his space, to suffocate every strategic advantage before Roach could even think of using it. His voice wasn't raised, but every word felt sharpened, tightened, and loaded with intent. The message wasn't hidden. Cruz wanted Roach to feel what was coming. Roach responded with the kind of icy composure that only infuriates aggressive fighters. He didn't raise his voice. He didn't match Cruz's intensity. Instead, he used calm, precise language, the language of a strategist explaining a blueprint. Roach emphasized timing, angles, foresight, ring intelligence, He framed the fight not as a brawl, but as a chess match where Cruz was bringing pure aggression to a board that required calculation. It wasn't arrogance, it was belief. A deep and unshakable belief that he was too smart, too polished, too experienced to be swallowed by Cruz's pressure. Cruz didn't take kindly to that. The more Roach spoke calmly, the more Cruz's body language tightened. His jaw flexed, his fingers tapped the table, and his eyes cut toward Roach with a glare that seemed to say, "You don't understand what you're walking into." And when he spoke again, he doubled down. He said he wasn't reckless, he was strategic in his own way, that his pressure wasn't wild chaos, but a calculated force built to dismantle fighters, break their rhythm, erase their confidence, and drag them into a war of attrition they weren't prepared for. Roach's reply was the sharpest moment of the press conference. He didn't insult Cruz. He didn't shout back. Instead, he said something that shifted the energy of the room. That he had seen pressure before, seen punchers before, seen fighters who swing for destruction before, and that none of them had broken him.
Everybody, thanks for coming out. I'd like to thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. I'd like to thank everybody a part to make this big event happen. PBC, Tom Brown, Al Heyman, Luis Couture, our team for sure. No excuse. My dad, Gary Jonas, Robert Diaz. I'm here, man. I'm excited. Like I said, I told you.
He said this fight isn't just about toughness, it's about discipline and intelligence. And he made it clear that he believes Isaac Cruz is stepping into a type of fighter he has never dealt with. A patient, technical boxer who can punish aggression the moment it becomes predictable. At that point, the back and forth wasn't just trash talk, it was a psychological duel. Every word built on a deeper narrative. Brute force versus precision, chaos versus order, fire versus ice. The journalists felt it. The crowd felt it. Even the promoter sitting between them shifted uneasily, sensing that this fight was becoming something bigger than a simple title matchup.
And then came the face-off. The fighters stood at the center of the stage, and the room fell silent. Cruz stepped forward first, stepping into Roach's space with that same heavy pressure he brings inside the ring. His fists clenched tight, his breathing quickened, and his eyes locked onto Roach with a glare that could cut through steel.